Today, I want to say this correctly, everybody. Not only is he a legendary rock and metal photographer, he also has a book out called Another Time, A Different Place. Sorry, my eyes are so fucked up. It's about Megadeth, and Dave Mustaine wrote the foreword for all you book readers. That's incredible, and you can find it on Amazon, and we'll get into that in a minute, and it should be flashing on the screen about now. Also, he was Metallica's photographer and took some vintage like Dave Mustaine, Cliff Burton, and the other two guys, which I'm sure you know, 1982 to 1984. One of the coolest fucking people I know, Mr. Bill Hale. How the hell are you doing? And thank you for joining General Population today.
Hey, Marco, I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks.
Yeah, dude.
And to make a clarification, I was an official, unofficial photographer.
Well, we're gonna by now the pictures are on the screen, so like that's what's up, dude. That's you.
Yeah.
I have so many questions, man. So yes, man, tell me about it. What you been up to these days, anyway? We'll start now and then go back in time.
Yeah, during COVID, I took a couple months off. Actually, I was living at my friend's beach house in the other side of the island, and just chilled out. Then I started. You really couldn't. I had to play by the rules. I didn't want to go photograph people and people. Hey, man, Bill's still working, whatever. So I took some time off, which I really needed. But I moved back into town. I'm right behind Diamond Head. In front of Diamond Head,
Kapahulu side or some shit.
Yeah.
I had an apartment. I had an apartment right across from Safeway. I got evicted from several years ago.
It's the Waikiki thing, and just try to get my archives going. There's still a lot of documentary work that people want Metallica photographs for, and there's so much talent on the island. There's so much amazing talent, and it keeps me here. I mean, all my buddies are incredible guitar players or something like that. So just trying to keep them going with their photography and just getting the old stuff online.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to the old stuff. Let's talk about the middle-aged stuff, like my buddy Tavana. And I'm older than him. So out there on the islands, there's a jam maestro by the name of Tavana. You take pictures for him. How did you guys actually meet? Where's all this local guy connection thing happening?
I knew Tavana in 2009, but he had a reputation for being what Keith Allen calls beast. So actually, I got divorced. I left my wife in 2013, and I walked in a small bar in Kapahulu, and it was like November 2013. And I walk in, it's a small bar.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hold on a second. There's it's right on the corner, right?
Yeah, on stage. Yeah.
What? So, all right, cool.
Yeah. So I walk in and I have a beer, and then Tavana, hey Bill, how you doing? And this is
he had that voice when he was like 11 years old. I want you to know that.
That's what his brother said.
Yeah, not even.
And then he just gone clean and sober, and here's this guy with a fucking monster voice, played a bass drum, a tambourine on a beater, and a Taylor guitar that wouldn't stay in tune. But he fucking blew me away.
Yeah,
he just had the songs and the conviction, and we were best friends after that. Right for the next until 2019. It was all the gigs he could ever possibly be there. I'd see him 3 or 4 times a week, and just kind of coach him. Say things like rock stars don't look like that, or song where songs go and stuff. And we've just been like but the son I never had.
Right.
And then the guy's a monster talent. He's just everybody that saw him play or see him play just can't believe it. And
I tell you what, man, when I was a little kid, because I've known him seriously since I was, like I said before we were filming, my first band was his first band and my cousin Shell's first band called Tribe 13, because we were turning 13 and Shell was like turning 11. Douchebags. We used to play at the Hilton Wine Village on the street right in front of this thing called the How Tree. And fucking, it was like a sidewalk, and just Shell would have maracas. I'd be playing a keyboard. Tavano would be doing like chick, 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 chick. We'd play Stir It Up and fucking random stuff. But we'd go into like Eric Clapton and just random shit as kids. Later on in life, he ended up getting about as good as you could possibly imagine your buddy getting. Like, he would play Stevie Ray Vaughan shit, Eddie Van Halen. Like, Tavana was my rock influence, which is bizarre. I'm a metal guy now playing guitar, but yeah. So me and him, man, we went back and forth for a while, which in 1997, which was the only bizarre part about this story, was he used to actually enter brown bags to stardom every year. You know what I mean? You guys, I don't know if you still have that, but like back in the day, in 1997, we had the whole competition was at the Waikiki Shell. And I fucking being a basketball player actually entered the competition, won my school, and won the whole fucking thing, absolutely randomly, right? And then I don't know, there was tension between me and the guy a little bit. I don't know why, but it is. That's the way brothers work. But we're still best friends, man. He was on the show not too long ago, and your hair, motherfucker, is incredible. And that was like before he shaved his head, man. That's Tavana right there.
Yeah.
You're like
Yeah.
fucking step pops right there with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love the guy, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
look up
Let
Tavana's
me,
music. He's
yeah.
incredible.
Let me say something about Tavana. At one point, he had come up with this Roland foot triggers, the drum pedals. They're on near the
Yeah.
electronic drum pedals, and he had 6 of them. So he'd play complicated drum patterns with his feet, drum roll, cymbals like that. He plays banjo, he plays
Oh, I know.
ukulele, he
Yeah.
plays guitar, and then he has a Weizenborn, which is a special
Yeah, that's still
steel lap
laptop
guitar.
where he, oh yeah.
It's a Koa one. Koa is a great wood to hear, and it's hollow body. And when he plays that, the whole planet shakes.
Yeah, it's
Imagine
crazy.
if Jimmy Page grew up here playing steel lap guitar. The first chords he hits, the whole place shakes. It's incredible.
His
That's one of
feel,
those things about him. Yeah.
Tavana, you must be loving this, dude. Me and Bill for the first 15, 20 minutes talking about you. But the thing is, for real, like he is so damn talented and his rhythm is just fucking off the charts too, man. Like
Yeah.
that funky shit, and like he can do it all. Actually, Israel Kamaka Viva Ole, rest in peace, the song Uamau. He's got a cover of it that fucking kicks ass on major
Yeah.
levels. But all right, man, we're done playing with Tavana's balls right now. How about Keith and my buddy Ryan from Guidance and everything? You
Well,
guys,
here's another thing. I'm sitting here thinking in my office one day, why am I hanging out with Tavana, Mike Love, Dave Ederly, Keith, and Ryan?
Edery. This
Yeah,
is
and
the
I'm
this is the
thinking,
back in the day schematic. That's weird. You're
and
like
then all of a
homecoming
sudden
for me.
I see Keith at the Blue Note, which is a big club here. And Keith's mom, Shauna, shows up. He goes, "Hey, Bill, you went to Monterey High." I said, "Yeah." "You graduated in 1979." "Yeah." "You know Keith's dad?" I said, "Oh, I do know Keith's dad and Keith's uncle. I used to run track with them." So I'm thinking to myself, if I got busy my last year of high school, they would be these guys' ages. That's why they're like my sons kind of thing. Yeah.
The weirdest part about that shit was Keith. I told him because he's doing a show Sunday. So he's gonna be on General Population Sunday with Keith Batlin. And
I love Keith. He's like
yeah,
my
he's
son,
dude.
man.
But you'd be surprised how intelligent that fucker is. Like he knows every little trivia question. And I mean, you could be talking about some fucking crazy 1930s bluegrass, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it was that." And how do you know that? I don't know. But
Yeah.
really cool
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Hey, go
One
ahead, go
day
ahead.
I'm photographing Tawana, and Keith walks up, kind of Keith style, right? And I had
Oh,
Phil, I had a Phil and Knot T-shirt from Thin Lizzy. He walks over and goes,
oh yeah,
"Bob Marley, Black Irish. Phil and
dude.
Knot, Black Irish. Keith Adams, Black Irish." And he walked away, going, "Okay, man, that's cool."
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
there's a weird story. You know you've heard of Children of Bodom, right? Lexi and all those
yeah,
guys. Yeah. So there, I don't know where the fuck Keith runs into these dudes, but this is like vintage Keith, the phrase, right? So he's hanging out with the kids, and Keith brings up and starts talking about Lake Bodom, right? Like apparently a lot of people were drowned, like there was a mass killing or some shit went down in fucking Lake Bodom, and now these kids became children of Bodom. And I use kids that term lightly because I think they're my age now or some shit. Point being is, how the fuck did Keith know that? You know what I mean? Just a random little like, how the hell did you know that? And this goes across the board. Keith Batlin should be on your list of people to take to a trivia goddamn game. Point is,
yeah.
awesome. And I love that you know those guys. So yeah, have you taken pictures of them kids and all that good stuff?
Yeah, Keith. I mean, I want to do a session soon. He lives up the street, and
Right.
we've been talking for years about doing a one-on-one session, and we just haven't had the time or the thing to do it yet. But he's on my radar all the time.
Well, this COVID thing
And
kind of took everybody by surprise, man. Like Keith went out to Monterey, even Ryan, man.
yeah,
They're like, people moved out here and shit because you can't do too much. And Tavana, I think
yeah,
he actually went down to Austin for a little bit to do gigs. I'm
yeah. He
pretty
did a 2-week span from Austin, a couple places in Texas, ended up in Florida. But he's back home now.
yeah.
And Tavana is like the only person besides Henry Capono that gigged constantly or worked constantly during COVID. He put out an album, he put out an EP. I mean, he did his whole video thing for a long time. His celebrity has risen during
Yeah, it's
COVID.
going up, man. And we're talking
Yeah,
about his ass right now all over the
yeah,
world.
yeah. And so yeah, he's just I was happy to take a couple weeks, a month off. I was tired. I mean, I'm like 60, so it's like turn around like 2 months on the beach. I'm at my
Dude,
beach house. I mean,
fuck you
all the
for
way
that.
through.
Fuck you for that head of hair you got, dude. That's amazing. That's that's awe-inspiring, bro. Like that.
It's Hawaiian Mexican, so blame
Yeah,
my
I
parents.
could tell that's the gig. So you're Hawaiian and Mexican. ¿Tú hablas
Yeah,
español? ¿Tú puedes
yeah.
hablar español un poco?
Un poquito.
Hanaho.
Yeah,
Right? Hey,
yeah.
man. Fucking, well, you're cool as hell, dude. I just want to emphasize that. Now let's get sketchy. All right.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, I'm a big metalhead. Yes, I am. And Kalia Road. Yeah, 2003 Kalia Road. That's the Hilton Wine Village. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's the street. So I renamed what it is my project is now Kalia Road, but it's a metal album and it's coming out in about a month.
that's cool. I like that.
Kind of bizarre. Yeah, it's totally ambiguous. You have no idea. Like, what the fuck is Kalia Road?
Well, it's like the Metallica song Battery. If you
Yeah,
don't know what Battery Street was, that was the club the old Waldorf was
yeah.
on.
It's
So if you know your stuff about your people, then you understand.
yeah. People are always like, What is that? Like Parkway Drive?" I'm like, "No, seriously, it's nothing like that." But I can understand where you're going with it. Point is, I was trying to come up with so many
Yeah.
band names that I was like, "Where did this fucking idea even start?" And so it goes back to the Tavana and my cousin days when my aunt had the Elite Tower show in the Tropic showroom, and we were little kids playing fucking Bob Marley covers on fucking on the beach side for like Zabaro's pizza money. I don't even know if Zabaro's is still out there. But anyway, god damn it. So I'm a metalhead. Um, how the hell did you get that gig with the Metallica kids? And I want stories, bro. Like, let's fucking work that one out.
Well, it starts at my best friend out of high school, John Sternansky. We formed a magazine called Metal Rendezvous. It started to be a fanzine. We Xeroxed my mom's office, and it started as a fanzine. At the end of the '80s, we were 100,000 issues worldwide. But what happens is Lars gets to California and he finds these who's going to be the metal people. He hangs out with Brian Slagle. He finds Ron Quintana, my buddy Bob Melbady, who writes my books. Bob, we'll get to Bob. Bob's a legend. And John Smith. And within 2 weeks, he finds who's going to be the biggest metal people on the planet. I mean, behind the scenes, we actually kind of like promoted heavy metal from the start.
Bro,
Quintana with metal. What do you have? What Ron Quintana's a magazine. I can't even remember it
I don't
now.
remember any of that shit. But all
Yeah,
I'm saying is, even this conversation, there's no
yeah,
music playing, people. Like, there's not. I should fucking edit in some music just so this little.
yeah. But
I'm not even. All right, fuck it. Go for it.
yeah. What we did, what Slagle did, what we all did is we loved the British heavy metal, Maiden,
Iron Maiden, Saxon, the
Angel Witch, all the heavy
Diamond
shit. I
Head,
mean,
Diamond Head.
yes, Diamond Head was
Diamond Head was big.
important. Yeah, and
Fucking
then
anyway.
Motorhead, yeah, all that shit. So we're promoting this shit.
Motorhead, Jesus Christ.
We were promoting this shit nonstop because nobody in U.S. press could do that. So I mean, Slagle had from Brian Slagle, who started Metal Blade Records. He's actually the first one to put Metallica on vinyl, kind of thing. And Metal Blade is responsible Armored Saint for everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody who's metal was on Metal Blade Records, right? Slayer, all
And
that.
they're
stuff.
probably, by the way, fucking, I know they retired, but they probably will do a nice little.
I don't know.
You don't
When
think so?
Jeff died, no, I don't think so. Besides, Tom's back's pretty jacked.
So it really is over, like over.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Carrie thinks like let's go out on top without dragging the shit around. And it's gonna be this next couple of years. Everybody's gonna. I mean, we're all getting 60, right? Fucking Lars and James. Everybody's gonna be up there. The only band that's not is Death Angel, and they started when they were kids.
Bro, I got a weird story about that. By the way, look, I mean, people from the Whiskey A Go Go here on Sunset, this is going to be random and fucking funny too. I was in a band called Circle of Violence about 10 years ago, and our first gig was we opened up for Opeth? OTEP.
Yeah.
OTEP. The one with the girl. Which one is it? OTEP.
Oh
OTEP.
fuck! I don't remember.
Whatever, one of the big bands. Anyway,
Yeah.
we had to open up, and like, I don't know if you're familiar with pay to play gigs, but it's not cheap, and fucking you got to sell your tickets, especially for a major act like that to open for them. Anyway, we killed it. We had a bigger mosh pit and all that shit than they got. It was fucking fun. Point being is, now they asked us if we wanted to open for Death Angel. right? So I'm like, fuck, when is that? Next month. All right. I signed my name on the contract, right? And so there's four other assholes getting away scot free, right? At the time, our like we always mix up like jobs in the band, but one of the like the vocalist guy, which I do the vocals and the lead guitars in Clear Road. See how much of a fucking asshole I am just to fucking say that. Point is, you gotta goddamn make the point. Anyway, he was a porn star and he was getting a divorce with his porn star wife, as is tradition, and he couldn't do the gig, so they just bailed. And now I end up with this fucking. I have to pay them like $1,200 for some shit that we can't do, and I'm not gonna go up there with fucking hey, what's going on? So I end up like they threatened to take me to small claims court and shit like that. So what do? I keep going to the Rainbow, which is owned by them, getting drunk, showing up to the shows over at the whiskey, going in, walking in for free, until the son, I forget what his name is. I think his name's Mike or something like that. And I don't give a fuck. Throws me literally like damn near out into the street. Point is, I'm 86th for life. Isn't that fun? So yeah, let's talk about keep going from Death Angel.
Yeah, so it's going to be a point when next couple of years that all these guys are going to retire. Because I mean, and here's the cool thing about my generation: where was Zeppelin in their 40s? Where was like
they quit after
everybody?
Bonham died, though. They couldn't.
Yeah, everybody. No one really lasted or was viable in their 40s. Now these
What's
guys are in their
fucking
50s.
Rolling Stones, man?
Okay, just the Stones and maybe Aerosmith. But
Yeah,
even think like
Aerosmith for
no.
sure.
Yeah, but think about even like the metal. Where's Rat at? Right? We name the list. Right? You can go down all the big bands: Kansas, Styx, REO. Fuck them, they're gone. Right? Even like Bad Company or whatever, where are they? They're gone. But let's talk about
You got a
Testament,
goddamn point. Fucking
Slayer.
Van Halen was still jamming, even though they were
Yeah,
douchey
but
like throughout it.
yeah, were they putting out godlike albums like
No, no, no,
Anthrax, right? Like
absolutely not.
Testament,
No,
like Megadeth. So
no.
my generation has kicked more ass than anybody else. I mean, we're pushing 60 and they're still going to go out there and balls out, kick your face. Metallica still can play like fucking stadiums,
Oh,
And
Metallica's the shit. Like honestly, Master of Puppets. Like I went
yeah,
from fucking
yeah,
like my aunt was like I sing guitar. I used to be on stage. Like you'd be surprised. Like she used to take me up on stage when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and like make me tell jokes. And I would say shit and stuff like at that age, and just that would crack everyone up. So like I'm really familiar with all that crap. But when you're used to all that silly shit and all that, fuck, I totally forgot what I was gonna ask you. What the hell did you just say? I'm sitting here going, fuck, I
yeah.
was doing jokes. Wait, what the hell were you saying? Come on, there's a point here.
Well, because my generation, being the late 50s, early 60s, are still kicking ass.
Yeah.
With all the other people, I mean, fucking towards the end of the 70s, Black Sabbath sucked. People forget like Technical Ecstasy sucked. Never Say Die sucked, and that's why they fired Ozzy. All these bands like Bad Company or whatever, right? They didn't get to be cool in their 40s, let alone their 50s. I
I
mean,
honestly
just
can't remember what the question was going to be. So fuck it. I'm sitting
oh
here going,
yeah,
God damn it. Maybe I need some memory
yeah.
elixir.
No, my generation hasn't stopped, and they're just kicking ass. So
Well,
that's the
yeah.
difference
Like, all
between
right,
the metal generation like that.
let's
And
go
even,
let's go Chili Peppers then, man. They were fucking, they still rock, dude. I mean,
yeah,
it's
but are
different,
they
but
are they viable still? Are they still running the best stuff ever, or is Blood Sugar Sex
mm,
Magic the best album? You know, I mean,
that was my
yeah,
question. That wasn't even my
yeah,
question. So I grew up. Hold on. All right, this is beautiful.
yeah,
Thank you for that. So I grew up watching my aunt play guitar, but what tripped me out when I was 18 years old was Master Puppets. So, and I didn't know how to play a fucking guitar at that point. The only riff I knew, which I even told Kelly about, was the Blood Sugar Sex Magic riff. Bum, 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 and I'm going, you know
yeah,
what, dude? I hate sitting at the piano. This is way more than me. And then I hear Master of Puppets. Game over, dude. I'm sitting here, and it just
yeah,
changed over. Anyway, all
yeah.
right. Thank you. My God, man. All right. So go, yeah. So no, they're not putting out Blood Sugar Sex Magic type stuff at all.
Yeah, I
So
mean, Encore was, or the Getaway was, it had some great retrospective songs. Because what happens now, people are my age, other bands, they're actually putting their experiences, life experience in it, instead of like being, just straight ahead.
right.
So like, like the last album they put out, it was like Calexico, that one song. It's like him doing things, and how do you be competitive like Anthony Kiedis at 50, 56? How do you still be wah? You don't. You have to write
It's
differently.
physically different, but you can alter
Yeah,
it. You can still
yeah,
make it a
but it's not
spectacle.
like Anthrax or Testament going on
Yeah.
stage going and do it full
Yeah, no,
bore
I feel you, dude.
nonstop.
I absolutely feel
Yeah,
you, man. I mean, Tool's
yeah.
got an album coming out or some even Fucking Rage,
Yeah,
dude. They've been gone
Tool's
for a
album's
while.
out, and it's weird as hell. I mean, the first track's 11 minutes long, and so
All right.
I used to see Tool in nightclubs. It was a club called Black and Blue off of Hollywood Boulevard. Now I used to know Maynard. I knew Maynard because of the band called Green
Green
Jello.
Gel, yeah,
He,
yeah. All right,
yeah,
dude. Oh
he
my
used to hang out with he used to hang out with Bill a lot, and Maynard was just weird. Maynard would sleep in his little Honda Civic. That's how weird
Maynard
he
is
was. But
weird.
everybody did.
I didn't know that he was the guy who went, not by the hair of my. He's that guy. So if you guys
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
look, he's not the guy. So Little Pig, there's the
That was
lead
Bill.
singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But fucking Maynard. And all right, so I used to be friends with this fucker named Chris Holmes. All right. From
Chris,
from
the
Wasp,
Wasp. Yeah,
dude. And it
love the
was,
man.
yeah, man, bro. I haven't talked to him in a minute, bro. I think he
Wait,
we
wait, wait. Here's to him and what's his girlfriend named Chris or whatever.
I don't
And
know.
she just put she's rescued him, sent him, they brought him to Germany, and that there's a big documentary on him called Mean
Now?
Man, and it's
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
Yeah,
Bro, like I
Chris
think
was
last time I heard he was moving to France, but like we all had studios, me, my cousin, my buddies, everybody over at ABC Studios up in North Hollywood, man, and Chris, and like I'm not putting anybody under the chopping block or incriminating anything, but it was the lifestyle you'd imagine, and we were all living it,
yeah,
right? So fucking
yeah.
it was nuts, and fucking I hung out with him so much. We ended up going to like this rock and roll thingy jiggy, and Green Jello was there, and I hung out with everybody. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you know who Mojo is. He's some weird like Hollywood socialite that paints his face and stuff, and he's everywhere. No, don't worry about it.
No, no.
You will later. But anyway, yeah. So I got to meet the Green Jello guys. The point is, I hung out with Chris a lot, and I don't know why that just jogged the memory. But I had no idea that Maynard was involved. So anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
take it away.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so as far as like your role in all of this, because I'm not see how I'm diverting attention to the book topic. So the point is here, man, is what was your role? Were you the party guy? Were you the photographer? Were you always looking for a project? And how do you intertwine yourself into all this shit, man? It's
Yeah,
mayhem. It really
we
is.
had my buddy John and I, we had a magazine, and our idea was to report on the music we liked, and this, important to have a scene. And San Francisco at the time, even back in the 50s, 60s, San Francisco had a scene. They had magazines, they had clubs, and the 80s generation inherited two amazing clubs plus a big scene. The Old Waldorf, which is owned by Bill Graham, and the Stone clubs.
I'm talking about
I mean,
the Bay Area crunch
the Bay
style
Area.
shit. Eh?
And so it was like we were just inherited all this stuff. So the clubs are there. We needed to report on what we were seeing because Circus Magazine sucked, Hip Parade sucked, Rolling Stone sucked, and so we needed to do that. I mean, we knew the bands already, and then like I said, Lars had found John at a fucking Judas Priest concert in Oakland, and called up my friend Bill Burkhardt, who owned a record store, and so we'd hear "Hit the Lights" as they were recording it.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Hit
And
the
so
lights.
we were with Metallica from the beginning, kind of thing, with Lars and stuff. So when they first came to San Francisco, we were there, and me being a photojournalist coming up, just took pictures. That's all I did. I mean,
were you
for my
Mr.
magazine.
Gonzo? I'm a big time, and you bring up Rolling Stone, but outside of that, I'm a big time Hunter S. Thompson fucker. You know what I mean? I love
Yeah,
that son of a bitch.
there's a story that I don't get to, but my idea, we were to report on what's going on, plus what's happening in England, and
Right.
so Metallica was it. Metallica. Here's the key to Metallica. Everybody wanted to have this key. You have the British sensibility with Lars, who knew Diamond Head, Budgie, all those bands, and you have American vocalist when James, who
Jay,
and so what turns out is you had best of both worlds. Iron Maiden's great, but Dickinson is so English.
hold on.
Yeah.
They were the best of both heads, Diamond Head and Motorhead.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, in the early days, Dave Mustaine was more the front man. He would always talk like if you see, if you see old shows, dude, it's like,
Yeah.
now it's Cliff Burton on the 4-string motherfucker. And
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
James.
James, he was fucking hell.
Well,
James was a
here's the
little bit more laid back, more subdued. You know what I
because
mean? But
well,
that
no,
changed.
he was so shy. What happened the very first time I saw them was the first time James sang and played guitar at the same time. And so Dave had the Metallica attitude. Dave had the whole thrash riff in
Yeah,
his head
Dave
already.
was the fucking
And
man. How
then
weird was that?
When Cliff got in the band, you had two musical giants, Cliff,
And
Giant
Dave,
from Hell, and Dave. And what happens? Lars sees his band slipping away because you got these two monster guys.
not just that,
And
but
so,
Dave was a crazy, drunken, fucking recluse
no, no,
that
no,
I
no,
can
wait,
relate.
hold on.
Well, you tell me then,
Wait.
man.
Because
Yeah,
he
you knew
wasn't
it.
that bad. I mean, Dave and I were really good friends for a long time. Lars got in more trouble than Dave did.
What?
Lars got caught
Jeez,
stealing beer from
do
clubs.
tell, Mr. Hale.
Lars,
Please
I
tell
remember
me.
Lars getting caught stealing a case of beer at a club. The owner said, "Dude, just ask. I'll give it to you. You don't have to steal it." Lars was a marquee in the front with a Metallica poster. He smashed it, trying to get the. Lars was out of control. Dave was a scapegoat for most of it.
Is that what it was?
Because they all are drinking. James was a quiet drunk. Lars didn't drink, but he's like, I think I'm a rock star already.
Fuck.
And
Yeah,
Dave
well,
just
you
got
need to have that.
for it.
What do you mean Lars didn't drink? That fucking guy?
No,
Not?
he didn't drink much. He didn't drink much. He was always like, yeah, but Dave and James drank their heads off. So.
What was Cliff like? Fuck all three of those other guys. They're
Cliff
still
was
here.
amazing. Here's a story I told once or twice. Is the last gig with Ron McGovney in San Francisco, the first bass player. We're in the hotel room, Cliff and I, a bunch of people. I'm hanging out with Cliff, and here comes Lars drunk, and we're like, don't tell Ron, but we're sacking him, get back to LA. And Cliff looks at me, he's like, the dude's right there. And Cliff couldn't believe what Lars was doing. It's weird thing, threw inside his band.
Well, you're talking about Ron, the original bass player. And he was saying that shit right in front of him when Cliff was around.
Yeah, right
too?
behind his back. Yeah, right to Cliff and I. And so, Lars didn't know who Cliff was at the time still. It was a couple months later he saw Cliff. But Cliff was amazing. We were best friends for a long time until the second tour of Europe on Ride Lightning. Cliff goes, Bill, come to Europe with me. I said, I can't. I got all this stuff. Bill, come to Europe with me. I said, I can't. I have a magazine to run. I got all this stuff to do. And we were like brothers. He would like just bust my balls every time I saw him. I had to actually, if I saw him coming, I had to go the other way because he'd like just be belligerent. So, but last time I saw Cliff alive, Dave was playing, Megadeth was opening for the King Diamond. I'm photographing Dave. I'm the only guy allowed to photograph Megadeth at this point because I don't do drugs. And they tell me, keep Dave away from everybody. So I get the band backstage, close the doors. I'm clicking away.
You don't even smoke. Go. I'm not stopping.
No.
Go.
And so I see Cliff coming in. I close the doors, blah, blah, blah. I do my thing. And then we're going to talk to Oli Bang, the manager of King Diamond, because he goes back along with everybody. So it's Dave and I talking to him, and King Diamond comes in, and here comes Cliff. I'm going, fuck. But what happened, Cliff gives me the biggest bear hug ever, which is kind of weird because we were at odds for a long time. And then him and Dave start talking. I'm the only one that has pictures of Dave and Cliff together on stage and backstage. And all of a sudden, Dave and Cliff, this is the first time Cliff talked to Dave since he got fired. And I get on a chair, take one photograph. But it was amazing. And then I'm going home. I'm driving back to Monterey. And I told my buddy John, that's really weird. Cliff was in a good mood tonight. And usually Cliff's, monster to me. He was gone 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And then here's the legend continues. So 2 weeks after that or something like that, Megadeth's opening for Motorhead in Oakland. I'm with the band. So I'm talking to James. This is where James goes to the dark side. All of a sudden his brother's dead. I mean, his mother died. His father left him. One of his best friends died right in front of him, kind of thing. So James is, that's where James goes to the dark side. Lars is being a little Dutch boy. So I'm going backstage. I have to go talk to Dave. So they're following me.
Hand it to Lars, though, man. Anyway, go.
I'll get to that. So I get to the backstage door, and they go, "Hey, Bill, how you doing? Okay, Dave's waiting for you." And then I hear the guy at the backstage, "You guys can't go in. Dave doesn't want to see you guys." and then going, oh snap, this is where the animosity really starts. They wouldn't let James and Lars come backstage. It was like,
Nice.
whoa. And I talked to Dave, and Dave was really bummed out. That was like, he said, that's the biggest waste ever. It was and he was pissed because he couldn't record ever. I mean, you know, and so, but Megadeth went on to blow fucking Motorhead off that stage that night, and it was just so tight. It was
Megadeth?
crazy.
What are you talking about here?
Yeah, Megadeth opened for Motorhead, and they were just like fucking amazing. I got some crazy shit pictures from them. That's in the book too.
We were talking about Metallica, but Megadeth to be continued. Did you know what happened to Dave? Like, were you around at all during that? Like the transition between fucking Mustaine and Kirk Hammett and how that led up to that and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
that's
Like
funny because in retrospect, because I had after my Metallica book came out, it was like the
Megadeth.
timing from hell. Well, we'll talk about the Metallica book really quick.
Oh, you have a Metallica book
Yeah,
or a
it starts the
Megadeth
Metallica
book?
book. Yeah, the Metallica book comes out and came out in 2008 before
Oh, this isn't the Megadeth fucking another place, another.
no,
Oh shit!
no,
All right, well,
yeah.
fuck yeah. Okay.
So there's a Metallica book, and it's huge. And that's all right. Do your homework next time.
I thought I did. Yeah. All right. Well, hell, we're
Yeah,
talking
so I
about
have
it.
a Metallica book. It's called the Metallica the Club Days, and it's like the first 6 gigs in San Francisco, all the legendary gigs you read about, talk about. Um, so Hammond started hanging out, but it wasn't like because Dave was in the band, but it was kind of apparent when I think back, who could have replaced Dave that quickly. I mean, Gary Hall. Gary's great, but he wouldn't be able to do. I mean, live with those guys and all the other
Gary's
bands. I mean,
cool, man. But
but
Kirk, well, go ahead.
he Kirk knew everybody that Lars knew, all the bands. He knew Diamond Head, knew all that stuff. Everybody else wasn't that suave yet. It took a
He
while.
also had a look to him too. He was kind of tough to identify, and that kind of worked
He
out
was
for
a
me.
little kid. He fit the ragtag image of like Lars and those guys. They
Yeah,
like a
well, he
ragtag.
literally like him and Lars. They were a couple of little, little
Yeah,
guys.
and it turns out in retrospect, hi Kurt, I know you're here someplace.
I know,
Uh,
right? I shit you
yeah,
not. Like, hey, you watch, man. They're gonna listen to this crap anyway. But fucking,
yeah.
yeah, dude. All right, keep telling.
No, I mean, it was kind of obvious that Ham was a good choice. And so here's my dilemma
I
when I was
agree.
doing
I fucking
when I
agree, actually.
yeah when I was doing the press for the Metallica book, I had a huge dilemma. I mean, I love Dave. I knew Dave. Dave was Metallica. I knew Kirk. I knew Kirk from Exodus. I saw it a bunch of times. We were really good friends. And so when I had to make sure there was an equal process going on, not to bash Kirk or not to ingratiate Dave. But what happens? The book shows Dave in a different light. The book shows Dave as lead guitar
The
in Metallica.
monster.
Yeah, the way he
Or
was. And
wait,
there's
hold
only
on, hold
one.
on, hold on. Let me rephrase that. The monster guitarist or the quote unquote fucking drunken like
Oh no, no, no!
violent.
The monster guitarist.
Oh
He
yeah, okay,
he
okay, okay.
invented thrash metal. He was the
Yeah,
thrash metal guy.
I honestly
Single
believe him.
handedly. Now, okay. Here's the cool thing about the Metallica book. There's only one controversial photograph, and it took me a while to put it in. It was the last gig in San Francisco with Cliff. I mean, with Cliff. Yeah, with Dave. Sorry. And Dave and I and Cliff were walking out, and I said, "Dude, I need a photograph." And so there's a girl in the middle. And so, but the thing is, this is the best photograph of Cliff ever. It's just pure, genuine Cliff Burton. You can tell how close we were. And Dave, being Dave, he's like big old cheesy smile. The girl in the middle turns out to be Kurt Hammett's future ex-wife.
Future ex-wife.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
no, it's
I've
Rebecca.
got a
Hi.
couple of
Sorry about
those.
that. And then the thing was, and I have to say it now because Dave puts it all the time. The animosity to Dave and Kirk was so amazing. At one time, David would go, "How my fingers smell, Kirk,"
Oh
and it was like,
man.
yeah, that was
Oh
how poignant it
man.
was. And
You
then,
know what, dude? All right. Hold on. We're gonna keep it civil. I'm a big obvious fucking fan of all this stuff. And like it goes way back with me too, and like way back in my life. But in general, thrash metal really fucking changed my life. You know what I mean? Specifically. Megadeth, Metallica, and you'd be surprised how many people don't really know that damn story. Like they don't get the real shit. Like fucking the Four
yeah,
Horsemen was called the Mechanics.
yeah,
Motherfucker was the guy who wrote all that crap. Who could
yeah,
sing and play at the same time? And James didn't want to do it. I've battled with that same shit myself, honestly. And I'm doing it again now. I'm gonna fucking play and sing at the
That's
same
fine.
time. Even though I do want to run around and shit like that, but
Yeah.
when you get glued, even James Hetfield, man, probably one of the fucking best at it. You know what I mean? Like with that low guitar and that fucking everyone wants to be James when they do it. It's a
Yeah.
bizarre thing, turn of events, really. But if you really want to break it down, man, I think Kirk is much better suited for Metallica, and Dave Mustaine started Megadeth, co-founded it with somebody, and fucking goddamn, you know what I mean? And to a point to where it's so weird, the competitiveness and the fucking pain and whatever the hell he's going through mentally, because that guy, with all of his success, always, and I mean always, talked about why did I get kicked out of Metallica? And what the fuck, man? Megadeth is like second best. Why am I always number two? Dude, you're fucking Dave Mustaine, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
ah! Anyway,
Yeah.
point being, uh,
Mhm.
how do we transition into this one? Well, I will say this. All right. I'm really good friends with Dave Ellefson. I really am. And fucking he's a good guy. And he's been on my show. I'm gonna air it this Monday. I don't know all the details. I'm not claiming to know all the details. And all I can say to that is I'm not going to look into too many of all those details. What it is what it is, and I feel bad that he's been kicked out of Megadeth. I don't condone everyone's behavior, nor do I fucking talk shit about it. So I'm going to keep it kind of in the middle. But
Yeah.
as
That's
far as
exactly.
as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, I mean he's a cool motherfucker, dude. And
Yeah.
I got his back on
Yeah.
that one. But
Yeah.
like I said,
Well,
I'm not,
because
I'm not looking into any details.
yeah, because he took the fall the very first time Dave got busted for having drugs. Dave took the fall for it. I mean, David took the fall for it, and so he's
Well,
been, yeah. So, but he's been,
it's a new day. It's a new day, and unfortunately, I don't think Dave Ellefson is.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
all right.
And that's the thing to put things in New Day perspective. Gibson Guitars called me up a couple months ago wanting photographs of Kirk Hammett. So it's fine, no problem. And then Todd, the number three guy at Gibson, he does everything. He called me up and wants photographs because I knew Dave was switching from Jackson to Gibson. It was all over the world. And then of course they made it official. They made a King V for Dave. Dave's on the papers. He's with Gibson now, which is kind of great to have Dave doing something huge like that.
Right.
I mean, so I have a bunch of photographs for two specials for Gibson. They're doing early Metallica, then they're doing a Dave special. So that's kind of cool.
You see how awkward this conversation can get, and then we're like, all right, let's just jump over there. Point being is,
Yeah.
I do want to emphasize this. From what I know, the guy to be, he's a cool guy, man. But like, and what you're saying and everything, don't fucking don't don't ride that super like everyone's fucking bagging on somebody wave until you really know all the details. And if you
Yeah, the
do
cancel
learn,
culture shit. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like if you know all the details and you still oppose them, then good, fucking, then that's your
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
I'm taking a step back. All right, man. So what are you up to these days, dude?
Just getting my archives back online, getting all that stuff, and plus, there's so much talent on this island. There's so much world class musicians on this island. The difference between being here on Oahu and every place else. These guys play 5 nights a week in front of a crowd.
Dude, I was
They may
in
not.
I was in Guidance and Freesound. We toured around, we
Oh,
did all
really?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
their fucking keyboardist for a while, man. And
Because
yeah,
it's just they just play nonstop to crowds.
it was
Yeah.
constant. It was fun. It was a lot
Yeah.
of fun. But I'm
And
not
so
yeah,
yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
because you're over there in the mainland, you play once a month or whatever. These guys, like I said, play
No,
constantly 5 nights a week in front of a live audience, and their chops are up. I mean,
yeah.
some of these guys. I mean, there's a buddy of mine, Nick Gertzen. You should look into Nick's amazing. Nick is a Swedish guitar player. Um, he lived in New York. His first band, Voices of Extremes, was produced by Dan Spitz. He had 2 albums for him. He was in Florida. He was in Iron Maiden had downtime. Nico started a cover band, and Nick was actually Adrian Smith in that band. He's here, and he's this monster heavy metal guitar player from hell. There's really not many people better than Nick Gertzen. He's crazy cool.
Well, shit, I interviewed Michelangelo Badio about a month
Yeah.
ago, too, and that son of a bitch, and I say that with like open
Yeah.
arms. That motherfucker,
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you know what? But
Yeah,
there's a lot of that, these days. Like that guy Kelly Karilliak, man, he can jam too.
yeah.
I'm not too
But
shabby.
here it,
You know,
yeah,
I'm not
here it's a
trying to do it.
lot of because you know those guys. I mean, Mike Love's about to blow up with the world.
Yeah,
Mike
let's
Love
talk
just
about Mike, man. Like I've known him for a while, but he doesn't respond to me anymore. So I tell you what, dude, don't put on them pants until you get them pants. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to be his friend here and there. Like reach out.
yeah,
Want to be on the show? What I do like about Mike, I remember him back. Let's talk about Mike. Back when he went to Kaiser High School and he wanted to be like a Marilyn Manson guy. He had the trench coat. He had like the bleached hair and shit. And I'd always laugh. But then when I actually met the guy, I had no idea how talented he was. He was the guy that like, anything's playing anywhere and he just picks up the guitar. And this is before I even started playing guitar. And he could just go right into it. And then suddenly and eventually things changed. Him and Tavana became
as
Melodious
Theonos,
Solutions
yeah,
and
yeah,
shit. And I
yeah,
remember like only on the right time, I called it like, oh, bro, like the once in a while time. It was funny as hell. But yeah,
yeah,
and then out of the fucking blue, bro, Mikey Dread was born. And like, wow. And I saw like Permanent Holiday and that loopy thing.
yeah. That whole
Dude,
loop thing,
yeah,
because
bro.
it here's like there's guitar players and they have to have necessity, so they loop and they loop better than anybody else. I mean, these guys can loop mad days.
No, it's cool,
Yeah,
man. It's
Mike
cool.
left Permanent Holiday. Look at it because this guy
Yeah.
he starts looping and you don't understand till the very end of the loop. I mean, it's just and
To be very clear about it,
yeah,
Mike Love, Permanent Holiday. Check it out. But in
yeah,
general, like check out Tavana, check out
yeah,
fucking Guidance Band and Free Solo
yeah.
and all
And
that.
then there's Dave Ederly
Ettery.
because he completes
By the
things.
way, let's complete the fucking Trinity or whatever thing.
Well, Locomojo, there's no better
Yeah, of course, of
band.
course.
I mean, these guys are better than the White Stripes, better than the Black Keys, better than any
And
duo
another
ever.
motherfucker with that bass driven crazy low, man. That voice, hey, what's going on?
Oh yeah, and so you got
Ettery,
these
dude,
two.
back in like freshman year. Like my little crew was Kavika, Estrada, fucking Tavana, myself, my cousin, and a few other kids sprinkled around. Like I didn't really start hanging out with everyone in Hawaii Kai for the most part because like until I moved there and I was like a sophomore in high school, and then Dave Ettery's in the picture. Adam Esposito, rest in peace. David Hoffman, rest in peace. And fucking all everybody like that. I had no idea that like I liked Dave. I thought he was cool, but he was like the dude you smoked weed with, would be there at the party. Hey, you gonna be like with the
Yeah,
craziest low fucking. You get him and Tavana going back and forth when you're drunk. It's one of the weirdest experiences. But
yeah,
yeah, bro, he turned it into some shit too now, man. So yeah, like
yeah. He's New York doing it, but they have a side project, and it's the most powerful thing I've seen. I'll tell them one more thing about, but Tavana's amazing, but the missing link is Dave. They share the same thing. They're just crazy. It's amazing to have those two together. And my thing is, all I want for Christmas is a Locomojo show,
yeah,
and it just wow.
yeah.
And then they do this thing called Net Shelf, Melts and Chains. And so
Mm.
Dave is playing acoustic guitar on the Tavana's drums, and Tavana's playing Dave's Les Paul.
Oh, nice.
And you've never seen anybody play a Les Paul this way ever. And I have a video someplace online. It's just it'll blow you away. I mean, these guys are so talented. This is why I stay on this island. There's so much talent on this island. It's crazy.
And it's so
I mean,
unknown too. Like, so I mean, I know Henry Capono and Tavana jam. Fucking even
yeah,
Eddie Vedder and Tavana used to fucking jam, and he's
yeah,
known.
because Eddie used to hang out with Henry all the
Yeah,
time. So
fucking
we
random,
got to
dude.
stop. We had to stop and talk about Henry really quick.
All right.
Henry Capono is like the first legendary Hawaiian rock star. His first band, Cecile and Capono, got signed the same night, the same club, same records label as Bruce Springsteen,
You
and they
kidding?
got more money. No, they got more money
And
than
they got
Bruce.
more money.
And then Columbia Records gave them the Doors producer, the last Bruce Bodnick, gave them the Beatles photographer, Ethan Russell. But what do you two brown boys in the 70s? Instead of going on tour with Stephen Croft or Logging the Scene, they wanted to tour with Cheech and Chong.
I was about. Oh my fucking god! I was
Because
about to say that
because
bastard
the
guy. You
but
fucking
the
guy.
two
All
brown
right.
boys, and but they've made
Damn it.
these legendary albums. They're just legendary here. I mean,
Yeah, I know,
they
man.
did
Fuck,
so much stuff for Henry. It's crazy.
I lived out there
So
most of my goddamn entirety.
yeah, you can't go here without Henry Hayes' voice twice an hour anywhere.
Nah,
So, but what
bro.
happens is later on in life? I mean, I get here, I work with Henry off the bat. Henry and I have been friends forever. I mean, I did album covers for him. I was social media before social media. I was his confidant. You know, it's like, but when you get older, what you're supposed to do is give back to the kids, the younger generation, help them a lot. So a couple years ago, Henry did an album for the younger generation. When Mike Love was there, Apollo Fuga, Loudon McNamara, Alex Kamakani, and Tivana. I mean, he called me up, dude, what do you think about this? I said, well, yeah, get Tivana for this.
Hey, what do you think
Yeah,
about this?
yeah. Hey, Bill, what do you think about this?
Hey, Bill.
And so what you do when you get a certain age, you want to give back. And how many people do that? How many people have that foundation where you help young musicians all the time? Name
I
Keith
don't.
Richards, no. You know,
No, I mean
Paul
maybe
Rogers,
behind
no.
closed
Jimmy Page,
doors.
no.
Maybe
But
behind
this is
closed.
yeah.
All I'm
But
saying is it doesn't need
yeah.
to be public. Maybe they do, you know.
But in
But
here, it's all about giving back.
yeah, I
It's
know
called Aloha. Yeah. So
for
that's
sure.
how Henry and Tavana got together.
Quick question. Kaylee Reichel, he was cool in my book. Is he still out there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He retired.
What about
He's
Olomana? Are they still rolling?
yeah.
I
Only
am.
Jerry Santos because
That's the only one I like. Me
yeah,
queda
yeah, because
aloha
Bobby Beaumont died a lot.
como.
Go back to Henry because Henry's the
Oh yeah,
keystone
my
here.
bad.
No. So what Henry did, he did a back in the day thing at the Shell. Shell's like the amphitheater, like Hollywood Bowl kind of thing.
I won brown
And
bags at the Waikiki Shell.
there you go. Yeah.
1997 in front of
And
like
so what
30,000
he
people.
wanted to do, he brought all the old guys back, and so all the people he knew, and Olomano was one of them, and the Beamer brothers, Casimiro brothers, all that stuff. So the Hawaiian legacy of music is so thick here; it's generations thick, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And so there's so much stuff here. I mean, I can shoot every single day and not cover everybody.
No, I know. And it was weird because like when my family was out there, we were so fucking left field. You know what I mean? Like it's not like my aunt is so completely different from the spectrum of what was like a show in
Yeah,
Waikiki. But you know what? Frank DeLima used to be in the gig, and fucking this guy named Glenn Medeiros. I don't know if you know who that is.
I've
But
heard of him. I don't know him.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a long time ago. But is Frank DeLima even fucking alive anymore?
Yeah. Frank still does this little
He still
uh,
does his.
yeah, it's a shtick. And he's, the thing about being here, you have to have local people do local commercials because
Yeah,
local
no, of
people won't
course,
trust anybody.
of
So he
course.
does this whole Milton Borough drag kind of thing, like
Yeah,
commercial.
it's tough to figure
Yeah,
him out, but you know what's
yeah,
up with him. But the
yeah.
point is you're making me homesick, motherfucker. God damn it, man.
Well,
Well,
can you hear the breeze? I'm right behind Diamond Head. The breeze is blowing
yeah,
in.
you know what? Can you see the breeze over here, man? Fucker. Well, I tell you what, Mr. Bill Hale, we can talk all night and day, man, but I'm gonna let you go because I've been drinking and I need to take a piss. Not just that, but we are actually about to do really cool things, man. And I hope everybody checks you out, dude. So since I don't want to fuck it up, name the book,
Okay.
throw it all out there.
Uh, the first book is Metallica, The Club Days, 2000. I mean, 82 to 86, something like that. It's on Amazon. Just Google Bill Hale and Metallica, and everything comes up. I was the most interviewed rock photographer on the planet. I had a gallery show in London in 2012. I was at Talk of London for a whole week, or whatever. I've been on interviewed by ACDC people, Richie Blackmore people. I mean,
Marco Lesher.
everywhere. Marco Lesher. I can't wait for this to come out. Yeah, and it's just good that the Metallica basis helps everything else. And so it was a fun time. I was right in the middle of stuff. It was great, but Metallica was maybe the top of the heap of all the other bands. I mean, I saw Slayer, I saw Exodus, I saw Celtic Frost, all these great
Holy
legendary
shit,
bands.
Celtic
Yeah,
Frost,
Tom
bro.
Warren and I are still good friends.
Man.
I have two. I'm working on two other books. One's a thrash book, pure thrash, and Tom's supposed to write the forwards for it. And my buddy Caton from Hyrax writes the intro. Then I have a general heavy metal book with like Accept and Armored Saint because they're all my buddies.
Were you
And we'll. No.
sorry, real quick? I was fucking this up with Ty Dennis earlier, but Chuck Schuldner from Death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, damn.
He died a long time ago.
Yes,
So,
thank you. I
yeah.
know about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I've watched all about
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
I'm fucking I was totally
Yeah.
forgetting his last name. But were you ever into that scene, like the over the top? Like it's not
Not really, because it was. I mean, it's just my stuff got to be mainstream, which was fine. But then I still had to cover. I have a list of firsts too. I'm
Yeah.
the first one to put Blackie Lawless and Watts on the cover. I'm the first one to have a full color photograph of LA Guns. I'm the first one to actually publish a photograph of Doro Peck and Morlock on the cover.
Mm.
There's so many little firsts in my career because no one else is doing this shit. So this is part of my leg. One day I'm building a website, and then it'll have all this shit in it. But for right now, you know, it's people like you, Marco, having podcasts and had a couple of drinks.
Well,
You
hey,
know,
yo, I tell
yeah,
you what, man, it's this is fucking down home aloha punch right now, man. I love it, dude.
yeah.
And you
Well,
will
it's
be
good
back
because
repeatedly. As a matter of fact, hold on, I have an idea. Since it's all technology now, we can do like a little fucking three-way, four-way with all the people in question from Tavana and Keith and stuff. We can all sit here and do all this. And
that'd
it
be
will,
great.
yeah, it would be great
Yeah.
actually. So fucking A, man. Anyway, go on. Go on. People like
and,
me. Come on,
and
tell
so
me. Tell me
there's
about people like me. No, stop, please. No, stop. Come on.
I know it's good because when my generation we had fanzines, which turned out to be magazines. That's how you got the word out. And now it's podcasting, which is amazing
Fucking
because you
nuts,
can
ain't it?
have one-on-one conversations with this, and people can sit there and listen to it,
Yeah,
or not listen to it, but
exactly.
it's reference material and stuff. So
Which
it's
goes
really cool.
which goes back to the way things have changed because you don't have to do radio necessarily. I don't even know. I haven't listened to a radio station in a car in
Yeah,
fucking years, dude. I'm not even gonna
yeah,
lie. And I used to listen
yeah,
to like out there, fuck, what was it? Like Kumu, KUMU, easy listening, Hot I 94 and 98.5 for your fucking classic rock. But like
yeah,
94.7 was Kumu. How fucking weird is that? But out here it's changed, man. Like we people can like if depending on how you market this and what your PR
yeah,
is, you can actually get people to know how to find you and like me. And it's just, you don't need to necessarily depend on all that other fucking horse shit. And trust me, like
yeah,
I grew up in the fucking horse shit and I like that it's more hands-on now.
yeah,
Like.
yeah. So I have to give a really quick shout out.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
buddy Bob Nalbadian. Bob Nalbadian is actually technically headbanger number two. Um, and he had his own magazine. Bob actually got Marty Friedman into Megadeth with my photographs. He has four movies out. It's called The Rise of Heavy Metal, whatever. And the last one is the Godfathers of Bay Area Thrash, which I'm in prominently. But Bob is like the guy you guys should look into. He's one of the first metal podcasters. Second book is the Megadeth book, which is I was a Dave fan. Dave and I were really good buddies. When he got kicked out, I stopped
You
working
know,
with
you know
Metallica.
what, fucking guy. Now, you fucking guy. Now, this is gonna push this continuously forward. However, what the fuck was he like during that time, man?
He was
Because
great. He was great. I mean, he was good. He was. I
no,
mean,
no,
hey,
when the kick out, like the transition to where like now he's beyond
oh,
pissed off.
he's fucking. He had humbled him. I mean, here you are in a band about to be fucking crazy cool, and
You're on your
people
way
knew
to
their
you're on your way to fucking Rochester, New York, in a bus or some shit. Is
yeah
that what it
in the
was?
back with
Like,
your whole band.
and they just fucking ditched him.
Well, they did when they got to New York. He did one other gig with Cliff, one other gig in New York. But there's a couple of stories. One, he's in the back of his U-Haul with Cliff, and some dust shavings got into his
Yeah,
eye.
I
And he
heard
wanted
about
to
like
pull
some
over. Yeah, and they
rusty shit.
wouldn't. And then they got to New York, and they start drinking anyway. And he was just a little more out of control than the rest of. But Metallica.
But you were telling me earlier that Lars kind of took the fucking metal
Yeah,
on that
Lars got
level.
in more trouble. But they're in retrospect, all of a sudden they're blaming Dave for being an alcoholic. But was their first T-shirt kind of alcoholica? I mean,
I was
so
alcoholic. Yeah.
I mean, Dave was the real deal,
I
and
know.
it humbled him a
I do
lot.
know.
I mean, he wasn't the old Dave anymore. He was way focused, so focused, incredibly. It was down Metallica. Megadeth is in the record bands before Metallica.
Yeah.
Everything is so maniacally planned out. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And then I was with Metallica. It was Larson James at the Record Vault when Zeri got the first Megadeth record in. They were writing Ride to Lightning. And so what happens is Zeri goes, dude, look what I got, the Megadeth record. And so Lars, the inscription back, so, and thanks to Metallica for the blood, with the metal blood that rolls through our veins. And Lars going, what the fuck does that mean? He walks out and they get to Rattlehead. And James gets floored because Rattlehead is like the key song.
Rattlehead. How do I know that son?
That's on the first album. It's the song. Play it,
Oh
Rattlehead.
no,
Man.
there's a band called Rattlehead.
Yeah,
No, yeah, no,
that
never
was
mind. Fuck it.
Dave's quintessential song, and I'm hanging out, and James just like falls on the floor because he's having writer block, and all of a sudden Dave comes up with an help. Okay, here's the next thing for Dave, really quick. How many people get kicked out of band and come back stronger?
Bruh, but
How
like
many?
fucking metal strong, man. Like that shit
Yeah,
was
Ozzy. Ozzy took a while
Ozzy.
though, and if it wasn't for Randy Rhoads, Ozzy would
Well,
be a drunken
well,
buffoon.
goddamn, that's actually a good question. Hold on. How
But
many
anybody
people?
else, nobody really.
I can't
When
think of.
when the guy from Boston got kicked out, Brad Dupp, he just like
Oh,
anybody gets out of a band,
you
what
got a
happens
good
to him?
point. I don't
Here comes
know. Hold
Dave.
on.
Here comes Dave and Monster Dave, and not just
Like getting kicked
yeah,
out of the band is that's brutal. Like not just a side project because we got a lot of side project fuckers
yeah,
out there,
yeah.
but like getting kicked out and then just into the stratosphere.
Well,
That's
think about
fucking
Deep Purple. How many people get kicked out of Deep Purple? Okay, Coverdale and Glenn Hughes, but like so here's somebody who is more driven, more conviction, and turned out to have a whole legacy to himself.
yeah,
I mean, I
crazy.
mean, Gibson guitars making a fucking David Stain King V. That's
Well,
like
they need to do that. I mean, come on, you can't fucking. It really is Dave Mustaine. A lot of people get attracted to Metallica because their songs, and God, I'll even say this shit like
they're accessible. Yeah,
Hetfield's voice is
yeah,
yeah, it's it deep with
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a little different, and not
Hmm.
everybody wants to fucking trip out on technicality. Me being
Yeah,
a goofy metal nerd, sure, fuck that. But if you really want to play Tick for Tack, I mean that's what it was. That really is what it
yeah.
was. There was
Hmm.
that fucking thing. If it was a different voice, man, that shit would have been fucking nuts. But here's the fact: is person like yourself, a person like myself, we understand who the godfather of it all really is. And so like,
Yeah.
we pay homage. But when it comes to separating people between Megadeth and Metallica, it's usually a vocal thing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Hmm. No, no.
Anyway,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
dude.
One more time. Lay it out for everybody, man, so we can close it on what people need to know about you.
Yeah. First of all, just Google Bill Hale and Metallica. Everything comes up. Two books out now. The Metallica book on Amazon and the Megadeth book on Amazon. They're both really, really cool. They have like 4.5 stars or whatever. Dave Mustaine wrote the forward. Dave Ellison wrote the intro. And so that you can't go wrong there. That's legitimate. It's the only photograph book of Metallica. I mean, Megadeth out there, and so it's golden.
Not only
And
that, but
Dave,
you're a goddamn cool guy, man. And there's a
well,
lot
you have
more.
to be humble. You're not going around like Mick Rock or those guys like, hey, man, I did. And I was like, no. I mean, all about metal is being humble. You're
Yeah.
talking to everybody. You're just a person,
Well, no,
And
I mean, if you're in a band, like fuck that. Like, I'm not exactly a humble man. Like, I'm humbled. I got a
yeah,
scar all over my chest. I'm fucking
yeah,
overweight and shit. I'm fucking 41, turning 42. That's humbling. You know what I mean? But at the
yeah,
same time, I know my talent. I know my worth. So if I have to
yeah,
fucking share a stage or somebody's got to share a stage with me, I go right back into like, well, good luck, fucker. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But
yeah.
yeah, man, there's a lot more about you. There's all these stories, all this shit, the lineage, there's all this stuff. I want everybody to fucking look into this man, Mr. Bill Hale. Dude, it was a goddamn pleasure, bro. I'm not even kidding. And you're going to
It's
be
good to
back.
meet you, Marco. I heard
Yeah.
about you, so it's good.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's
No, I'll
when we're
talk to you
off camera,
tomorrow.
we'll talk a whole lot more about.
Okay,
Anyway, man,
dude.
I'm going to have you back a ton. We're going to do that group orgy thing, all right, man?
All right, man.
All right, dude.
Cheers.
Game on.
Aloha. All right.
Aloha.